Last night at Mar-a-Lago, President Trump was joined for dinner by his embattled Attorney General Jeff Sessions. On the menu, a heaping portion of presidential frustration. Sources tell me and others at CNN that President Trump is quite upset with his senior staff for allowing this firestorm surrounding Attorney General Sessions to steal his thunder in the wake of his address to Congress. The president considered Sessions' recusal from any investigation into the Russian hacks hasty, and he had a heated discussion with his staff on Friday, expressing his frustration in no uncertain terms. But the presidential dinner invitation might be a sign of support for Sessions, who does not seem inclined to heed the advice of our next guest, House Democratic Leader Nancy Pelosi, who has called for his resignation. Leader Pelosi, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
So let's start with President Trump's allegation, so far evidence-free, that President Obama sought to have him wiretapped during the campaign. You're part of the Gang of Eight. That's a group of House and Senate leaders, both the leadership and the leadership of the intelligence committees, that would be privy, one suspects, to such information. Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
Well, the president, you know, is the deflector in chief. Anything to change the subject from where the heat is. And as one who has been engaged in intelligence, a member of the Gang of Eight for a long time, I can tell you that it's just ridiculous for the President Trump to say that President Obama would ever order any wiretap of an American citizen, any president. That's just we don't do that. And so this is, it's called a wrap-up smear. You make up something, and then you have the press write about it, and then you say everybody's writing about this charge. It's a tool of an authoritarian to just have you always be talking about what you want them to be talking about. Rather than Russia, we're talking about, did President Obama do thus and so? He certainly did not. And then to take it to the Congress and say, now you investigate this, when he's been not in favor of Congress investigating anything, including what do the Russians have on Donald Trump politically, financially, or personally. That's the truth that we want to know.
And that's the statement from Sean Spicer, the White House press secretary, this morning, that President Trump's requesting as part of their investigation into Russian activity that the Congressional Intelligence Committee exercise their oversight authority to determine whether executive branch investigative powers were abused in 2016. Regardless of whether or not President Obama ordered such a wiretap, do you know if there was any such wiretap by the FBI or the Department of Justice?
Well, we wouldn't know that, but in fact, the very idea that President Trump is saying he wants his Justice Department to look into that, you don't look into something like that. In other words, if President Obama flat out has said, we have nothing to do with this. What the Justice Department is doing is another subject. I have no knowledge of anything of that kind.
You were asked on Friday if you've ever met with the Russian ambassador along the same ways that Jeff Sessions, now Attorney General, was asked. This is what you had to say. Take a listen.
You've been in Congress a little bit, and you're in leadership. Have you ever met with the Russian ambassador?
I'm not with this Russian ambassador, no.
Photo of you in 2010 meeting with Ambassador Kislyak. It was part of a meeting that you had with Russian President Dmitry Medvedev at the time. I know there's a difference, and Senator Sessions...
It's a big difference.
Senator Sessions was under oath, and the meeting was far more recent than 2010. But is it not possible? I suspect this was an innocent mistake by you.
No. We were meeting with the President of Russia. He brought an entourage in with him.
Okay.
He was the one who was doing the talking. The question is, have you met with him? No, I haven't met with him. I met with the President of Russia. Who else is in his entourage? Who knows? Presidents, heads of state come in, they bring their party. They barely even introduce them. So this is completely different. But I want to say that in that meeting was the Republican leadership as well. So this wasn't just me meeting with Medvedev. It was a meeting of the House and the House bipartisan leadership with him. Who are the other people at the table? You'd have to ask the President of Russia.
Could somebody not say, you're parsing a little bit about your meeting with the President, even though the ambassador was there, and Jeff Sessions made the same kind of innocent mistake?
No.
You don't think so?
Are you kidding? Are you talking about, did I shake hands with him? I don't even know. Did I meet him? We're meeting with the ambassador at a time when the Russians are knowingly hacking our system. We know that the I said that at the convention in October, that I could
Right.
prove that outside of the intelligence. So to waste any time on something like this is ridiculous. He was at the inauguration. Was I with him there? He probably was at the inauguration. Maybe he was going to